Empty your mind.
Hey everybody, I hope you and yours are doing well, and welcome to today's video. Now, the other day I did an update video to let everybody know I'd be addressing the Wing Chun Kung Fu program and giving people more details about that, and I filmed that yesterday. So if you haven't seen that, go to the link below and watch that video if you're interested in the program and the special offer. Several people have taken advantage of that, and I just want to say thank you to all of you. I look forward to working with you, and if you have any questions, just reach out. And we're going to do some fun things like some live Zoom classes and all sorts of things. So it's going to be a lot more interactive than it was in the past, actually, now that we have Zoom and a few of these other avenues we can take advantage of. So I look forward to working with everybody. And once again, I can't stress this enough. If you have any questions anywhere along the line, just reach out. In that update video, I also mentioned I would be answering any questions if people had questions they'd like me to cover in today's video. Now, I did have a question about the shirts. A few people were interested in these shirts and when they'd be available, and I should have these for everybody sometime next week. And about the shirt, where it came from, I brought this up in another video. This is my logo. I've had this for decades now. This is my symbol, my logo. It's very simple. It just means Wing Chun. And these characters were drawn for me by world famous calligrapher Jin Huai Wang. And this is the artwork he had created for me and drew Wing Chun, and I had it transformed into the shirt. And he was an amazing individual. And I tell you, calligraphy is such an art form in itself, and it takes so much practice and dedication to be a good calligrapher. And just like your Kung Fu, everything they're doing, it's about putting chi and energy into what you were doing. I remember I draw something and I almost like fake it a little bit just to try to make it look good. And he would come by and be like, no good, no good. And then I would use perfect form and just really put all the chi and energy into it. And it didn't look right, but he'd come by and go, very good. That I could tell you had the right form, chi, energy, everything going. And he would draw like a little animal character on the board with just a few strokes, and it looked like the animal was gonna run off the chalkboard. It was just, he was an amazing individual, an amazing person, and I was very fortunate to be able to work with him. So that's where the shirt, a little information about the shirt. Now, another student or viewer had asked about Wing Chun kicks. I will film an entire video detailing the side kick, the front kick, the round kick, getting into kicks in more detail. But just to briefly answer your question, when it comes to the front kick, so I'm in a right neutral stance here. I'm shifting my weight. And when you kick in Wing Chun, we always have our hands up because we're protecting our upper gate. So at no point, if you ever see somebody throw a kick and their hands are down, or in a lot of arts, their hands are down, therefore you're exposing the upper gate. So anytime we kick in Wing Chun, we're protecting that upper gate. Now, also in Wing Chun, and I've explained this in previous videos, when you kick, Wing Chun practitioners are famous for low kicks. Why low kicks? Well, you can kick anywhere you want. If you want to kick somebody in the head, you can kick them in the head. There's no limit, there's no rule in Wing Chun that says you have to kick low. But when you're kicking, the higher your leg comes off the ground, the more mobility and balance you lose. And you want to throw your kick and get your kick right back on the ground, and you don't want to be taken off balance. A lot of time when I'm sparring like Tang Soo Do or karate guys or people that like to kick high, it's very easy to catch their kicks and just dump them on the ground. So it's important in a street fight to throw a nice low kick. Well, once again, you can throw your kick anywhere, but we like to throw lower kicks because then we can throw that kick, boom, and get our foot right back in on the ground. Now, there's a lot of subtle things about the kicking. Therefore, I will break this into different videos in the very near future on the channel for you and give you every inch of detail. So if I'm leaving a few things out here, just bear with me, I will get to it. There's a lot of subtle things that I'd like to cover that I probably won't get to everything right now. Now, so with the front kick, when you're kicking with the front kick, another thing you'll notice a lot of this snap action. So you'll see from a side view, people doing that flick. They like to make the sound with their pants and do a little flick. That's just a flick kick, right? And there's not a lot of power in that. Might be quick, might be fast, it might look good, but it's like a back fist. You're not getting a lot of power into a back fist as if you're getting your whole body into everything. So in Wing Chun, with the front kick and the side kick, the contact point we're making is with the heel of the foot. That is the strongest part of your foot. Therefore, when you're kicking, we want to kick with the heel. You'll also see a lot of people do front kick and side kicks, and they're using like the ball of their foot, right? And that's not the strongest part of your foot. We walk heel to toe as that's the strongest part of our foot. Now I've done this kind of visual for students, and I'll take a can of soda and I'll put it on the ground and I'll say, if you were gonna crush that can of soda, how would you crush that can of soda? Never, ever, ever has a student come over and said, well, I would do it like this, or I would do it with just the ball of my foot. Every single person brings that knee up and stomps down with their heel. That's exactly how you would throw a front kick, except the can of soda is now on your partner's chest or knee or leg or wherever you're kicking, and a side kick you're crushing through. So our kicks in Wing Chun have a chamber mechanism, and breaking it down, once again, it's going to be robotic, where we're kind of shifting our weight, we're bringing our chamber up, then we're kicking out, and then we're coming back. But in reality, it's just one boom, quick movement. Just there's little parts within that movement you might not see if we don't break it down. So each kick has a proper chamber. So when I'm kicking a front kick, I'm shifting my weight onto this foot, and my balance is going. I'm really kind of very heel driven here. I'm sinking my weight here, and then I'm bringing my chamber straight up here, and I'm pointing my toes to my head. So they're pointed up. They call that dorsiflexion. So that's pointed up towards my head, and my hands remain up. So that's the chamber, and you can practice. One of the things I recommend when people are practicing their kicks, you know, as I mentioned, Wing Chun, we're kind of do a lot of low kicks, but you can practice getting your kicks up high if you want. But if you're new to kicking, don't worry about the height, worry about your balance, and worry about feeling good, getting good form. So your hands come up, I'm in a right neutral here, I'm sinking over to this stance here, I'm getting my chamber up, and then I can put it right back down. So I can almost just work on that much of my front kick for a while, get the feel of that, then I'm gonna shift my weight over to this foot, I'm bringing my knee up, and then I'm firing out with my heel. Now, there's a lot of hip rotation that's coming out with this front kick. Something like, visualize somebody had a rope tied to your foot, and when I kick, when I throw this front kick, my hip, it's really pushing out with the hip, right? So there's a lot of hip involved with your front kicks. With all your kicks, we're getting that hip rotation into that kick. So it's another thing to think about. So your hands are up with the front kick, I'm sinking onto this foot, and then I'm stomping out with my heel. Once again, I'm stomping like I'm crushing something outward, keeping that outward movement and your hands up. So that's just a little bit of some tips and pointers on your front kick. Now on a side kick, what I recommend people doing is just, I'm in my right neutral again. I am shifting my weight up this way, except this time my chamber's not coming straight up. My chamber is coming off to the side a little bit. Side kick, chamber comes off to the side. Biggest mistake I see a lot of people make is they bring it too far off to the side, which could then wind up, you know, somebody rushes you, you can be spun around. So you don't need, it's really bringing it up at this angle here, right? I'm bringing this straight up at this angle here. For the side kick, just take your feet, get in that neutral stance, sink over to this foot, bring this up, and then just pivot out, right? And then come back. Now my pivot is happening, a lot of people say heel, ball, whole foot. You know, when and the best thing to do is just you can keep your hands down for now if you want, just to keep, and I'm just doing this so I can pick up this so you see my pants aren't hiding anything. When I'm shifting my weight over here, and then I pivot, here, it's happening more towards the ball of my foot, towards this part of my foot. And that's giving me the ability to turn my hip and get my hip out into everything. So I'm coming here and bringing that straight out. And then I'm always practicing coming back into my neutral stance. Now, why am I practicing coming back into a neutral stance? Simply so I have control. If I throw a front kick here, maybe I want to put my foot down here and I want to move. But if I'm practicing and coming back, I'm taking control of my foot. That means I can decide where I need to put it down and what I need to do. So those are just a quick few tips for today on kicks. I will get into this into a ton more detail and make sure you really understand every inch of it. I'll give you front view, side view, just like in my program, so you understand all the kicks and you see all the detail. And we'll get into round kicks as well. So good questions. Keep the questions coming. Greatly appreciate it. It's a beautiful day outside, so let's step outside and do the Sil Lum Tao form one time through, and then we'll move on from there. So what I recommend everybody should do now is look up, and I'll put a link down to the video below with the complete warm-up. And that's where I'm doing the Sil Lum Tao form, and then you're following my students through that entire warm-up. Let me know if you have any questions, if you can get through that warm-up fairly well. I also have a kick follow-along section, so if you just want to do the kicks, you can go through those kicks as well. Now, in the next videos to come, I will be getting back into the Chum Q, and I'm going to start showing some partner videos where we're working on linear deflections at straight attacks. And if you have any self-defense questions, front chokes, rear chokes, wrist grabs, weapon self-defense, I do have a lot of that content already filmed. Hopefully, shortly, we'll be able to get some students back over for some training and we can film some videos. By the way, how are things going for you guys? How is it in your area? Let me know in the comments down below. Are places starting to open up? I know a lot of states around the US are starting to open up. I think they said May 20th in my area. Some of this stuff is going to open up. I just heard in LA they're going to, I think he said they're going to keep it locked down until there's a cure. You know, just a lot. It's just all over the place. So I'm just curious, the future of martial arts schools and this environment is not looking so good, unfortunately. I just think, you know, we're all in a lot of trouble when it comes to that realm. And I'm sorry, because I know unless you have this kind of McDonald's martial arts school, it's really hard to make it as a martial arts instructor. And it's a struggle. You're usually just paying your overhead, making just a little bit here and there. And you're doing it more for your love of the art and as a, you know, Kung Fu family or whatever art you're doing. And I know it can just be a struggle. So I do feel sorry for all the schools out there. And I really hope, you know, hopefully this thing will mutate itself out of existence. I don't know. I'm not an epidemiologist or a infectious disease expert, but I know that has happened with viruses in the past. I would just, you know, we all would just love to get back to the way things were. So thank you for joining me. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the next lesson. Take care. And if you haven't already, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button or that subscribe button. Watch one of these videos right here, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.